look real quick. So we are recording, and this is the April 2nd work session, Town of North Beach work session. I do have something I want to read real quick. Welcome to the North Beach Town Council work session for Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. Due to the current public health emergency, the governor's stay-at-home order as set forth in Executive Order 20-03-30-01, in the sincere desire of the mayor and the town council to protect the public health, safety, and welfare to the maximum extent possible, the general public may not enter town hall. Therefore, this meeting of the town council will proceed virtually as permitted under the Maryland Open Meetings Act. The public is invited and encouraged to attend the meeting from their computers or by calling in. I request all attendees to mute their microphones until it is turn to speak. I've asked Councilman Troncone to handle the IT moderation, and also our clerk, Stacy, to handle the overall moderation of the meeting today. Council members will be called upon in alphabetical order by last name after each item introduction explanation. At this time, I would like to call on Jane Hagan to start the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and
justice for all.
Good job, guys. I knew that was going to be a tough one, but we did.
I can see a flag. It's on top of my mantle.
I got the Marine Corps flag in front of me. All right. Stacy, please call, please.
Sure. Mayor Benton?
Here.
Mr. Dotson?
Here.
Ms. Hagan?
Here.
Mr. Hummel?
Here.
Ms. Lupton?
here.
Mrs. Chietta?
Here.
And Mr. Troncone?
Here.
Perfect.
As you know, we sent out a sheet, plus Board Docs has all the information we're going to talk about today. Every resident, anybody can grab them. They can download them, print them out, read them, follow along. And we're going to go right into, we have 3 items on the agenda tonight. I'm going to ask our treasurer, Joanne Hunt, to start the discussion on item number 1, which is municipal solid waste recycling and bulk collection and disposal. Joanne, please take over.
Okay, does everyone have their spreadsheet with the comparisons?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What we have done is we have 3 columns. We have the first column, which is the existing vendor, which is SMR. Then the second column is SMR and the new bid. And then the third is Evergreen. So for item number 1, that is all trash service, all bulk, all recycling, all yard debris, and tipping fees. That's how much it would cost us, provided each of those vendors. The existing vendor, it would cost $254,000. The new bid for SMMR, it's $264,000, and Evergreen's bid was $418,000. Based on the second item in the bid process, the solid waste collection, if it were once a week. Now, the existing contractor does not have that number. So it is an estimated number, and that was arrived by taking the total and divided it in half. That was the only fair assumption. The new bid for SMMR, if we did once a week with everything, including the tipping fees, would be $136,317. And then Evergreens would be $344,000. Item 3 of the bid was 6-yard dumpsters for May through October with twice-a-week pickup. The existing bid, the existing contractor is $1,275. The new bid for SMMR is $1,080. and the new bid for Evergreen is $1,023. There's an 8-yard dumpster line item in the bid specs for twice a week pickup. There is no 8-yard dumpster in our current vendor. So that's 0. The second one, which is the new bid for SMMR, is $440 per month, and Evergreen is $407 per month. The pricing on item 5, which is for a 30-yard dumpster with pickup as needed by the Public Works Director, would be $450, as in our current provider, and $7,500 per ton over the 4-ton minimum. The second bid, which is $450 from SMMR, would be in effect the same thing as the first one. The bid from Evergreen for this is $790 and with the 4-ton, and then anything over the 4-ton would be $80 per ton. And that was for item number 5. The community cleanup, which we usually have 2 events per year. The existing provider, the dumpsters are $1,800 for 4 30-yard dumpsters. Anything over the 4 tons per 30-yard dumpster is, according to the invoice, $82 per ton. The bid with SMMR for the event would be $2,122. And then for Evergreen, it would be $690 per 30-yard dumpster up to 4 tons, with an $80 per ton after the 4 tons per dumpster. And then there's an additional charge of $250 for 1 8-yard for tires. If anyone has any questions while I'm doing this, let me know before we go all the way through. Item number 7 is price per household. There is no way to derive that factor. I didn't feel comfortable doing it with the existing providers, so I put NA. The bid for SMMR is $2.61 to drop service, and then for Evergreen, it's $41.26 if you drop a service. And that basically means if you lose a household or someone's not getting trash for whatever reason, therefore, and so on. Part B, provide trash service, solid waste and recycling, and the town pays the tipping fee. Again, I didn't feel comfortable pulling that information out of the existing vendor's information. So you have the new bid from SMMR, which is $192,000. And the new bid from Evergreen, which is $287,000. Then Part B, items 2 and 3, pricing for yard debris collection, which both vendors, when they met for the mandatory bid, agreed to a Tuesday would be a great day for that. SMMR shows $28,500. And Evergreen shows $103,935. Addendum number 3, item 3, price for yard debris collection weekly, April through November, if that was to happen. Same thing, I don't feel comfortable pulling that out of the existing vendor's information. So we have the new bid from SMMR for $18,200. Then you have Evergreen for $91,935. Addendum 3, those are the totes, collection totes. We had asked for this information for our own purposes, just to see if that's a method that we may want to consider. SMMR has a bid of $4,157 a month. And then Evergreen has $20,544, a yearly fee. And these are the bids as they were received. Does anyone have any questions on this?
Mayor Benton, you're first.
So a couple of things I want to point out. Yes, many trash companies were contacted. RFP went out. 2 showed up. Just so you know, if you've seen them on the street, they knew about this bid. Second of all, when it comes down to items, Part B, item 2 and 3, and then item 3, price for yard debris. We are looking about also what would that take for DPW to handle that within our yard there with the compost site, with the maybe a chipper. We're just trying to we're trying to get, make some decisions with that. I just want to point those 2 things out. We haven't made any strides with that. And also tonight is about discussion. And I want you to ask your questions, but get your questions together over the next couple of days and get them into us. Tonight is not about a decision. It's about learning, having education, and then getting questions into us over the next couple of days. So you're not going to make any decisions tonight. Other than that, I'm good. If you want to lead to the next person, Stacy.
Go ahead, Greg.
Nope, no questions. I'm good.
Okay, Jane?
I just am having a hard time wrapping my head around the big difference in price between the 2 vendors.
Absolutely.
It just blows my mind,
One,
especially when it's so far apart.
one has been here for 12 years.
Well, right. But he's also the one that sued Chesapeake Beach because they didn't pick him.
Well, I don't know about that. Let's move on. What else next? Who's
Mickey.
next?
Mickey?
Do we currently pay the tipping fees in our current setup?
Yes.
We do.
Okay, and for next time, could we have the number of what we've paid the past few years in tipping fees? Just so we could see what the tipping fee add up and compare it to the town paid the tipping fee versus the vendor paying the tipping fees.
Well, I can do that, but I have, 1 second, Mickey. I have the number for 2019.
Okay,
1 second, let me flip to that page.
Is it still in board docs, Stacy? The original one that Joe put in there?
No,
Okay.
no.
She updated it per your request late this
No,
evening.
Absolutely.
The 2019 total tipping fees paid would be $92,513.
okay.
Anything else, Mickey?
I had it, but I lost it. If I think of it, I'll send you a message to come back to me.
Okay,
My
Elizabeth?
next question, I'm sorry, Mickey, I don't want to leave from you because you asked something. You wanted a couple years worth. Do you feel like that's still needed?
I would like that for next time, just to see if there was an average or if there was an up or down on it, just to see like projecting forward.
So what, 2 years? 18,
Can we go
17?
3?
Well, you have 19. I don't think you should go back any further than 3. So my suggestion would be, I gave you 19, I can give that again. I give you 18 and then I give you 17.
That'll work for me.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
right.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One again about the tipping fee. So we have a number that's $92,513. Is that just for the Part B item 1? Because item 1 at the top has tipping fees in it. So I'm just confused about the tipping fee just a little bit.
Yeah, the item 1 includes everything. That's them picking it up, removing it, getting rid of it, paying for it, taking it to the landfill, everything. What was wanted, that was asked of me, was how much have we paid in tipping fees in 2019? And that's what I gave you. It's not really reflective in the numbers that we've gotten from the other vendors.
Yeah, I think what I'm being challenged with here is that we don't have apples and apples. We got apples, orange, pears, and maybe some bananas. So
No,
that it's just a comment. You don't have to go anywhere with it. I don't have. The other question I have is there any way after this meeting that you can have a discussion with one of us or all of us as why it is you're not comfortable in sharing certain numbers? That actually doesn't fit very comfortable with me because we should be transparent to see what the existing vendor is charging or what the actuals are, so we can make a better comparison. So I'm not really comfortable with the statement, I don't feel comfortable.
Oh, the reason I made that comment, and I will make it again, is because I was asked to pull that information out, and the vendor did not supply, nor does he supply that information. So I would have to create it and assume a lot of things in order to get those numbers. So that's why you see NA there, because I don't want to make false statements or false numbers.
Well, I would agree with that 100% or 1000%. The only other question I have, and I think it's going to be difficult to answer, is the numbers are so different. Besides the fact that someone's been doing it for a lot longer, and maybe perhaps Evergreen is new to the game, so they have some sunk costs there. I don't know what the differential could be besides hazmat or something like that. So how do we, when we go out to bid, how are we differentiating or how are we leveling the playing field so that we know that we have, that everybody is bidding on the same thing? Because the numbers are so different.
They are different. They're very different. And the way that that is leveled is because the exact same question is submitted in writing to each vendor exactly the same way. And each vendor then supplies the answer. So there is no a reasoning other than, I don't even want to assume why it would be different.
Well, I understand.
Exactly
So
the same.
so we don't have this broken down by labor. We don't have this broken down by whatever else.
That was
Usually
was
break
not
costs
asked
down
for.
by, huh? No,
That information was not asked.
okay. All right, that's pretty much all I saw that I wanted to ask about for right now.
Okay, perfect. Gwen?
Can you remind me what the length and terms of the contract are? Is it 5 years? How's that structured?
For the new one or for the old one?
For the new one.
For the new one, Stacy, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a 3-year contract with a 1-year renewal. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That's how it's in the bid specs, Gwen.
Okay, and since you raised it, I am curious. Is that the same as it was? Was it 4 years for the last one too?
No.
How many years?
Last year when John Shea was here, we had asked the question if we could have a multi-year contract. So we had 3-year instrumental contracts for renewals. So I want to say, and this is off the top of my head, Gwen, I don't have that with me. I want to say it was 3-year renewals.
Okay.
That
But
makes
that dollar
sense,
amount,
Mickey?
but I just want to make sure so that the dollar amount for the current one, that is the same time frame as the new ones.
Yes,
Okay.
it'll be a 3-year.
Right. So I want to make sure that the timelines. So, and I want to, I don't want to take too much time right now in the virtual, but have some thoughts about that just in terms of having a performance-based contract. And if we want to change that structure, I mean, do we have flexibility to change the way that's awarded if we want to do a 2-year with 2 option years?
I believe that would be a question for Alyssa, since it was in the bid document this way.
That way.
Okay. That's
Betsy, I don't want to interrupt, but didn't we put something in there this time that if we're not happy with the performance, we can give them like a 90-day notice? I thought we
Again,
did put that in the bid specs this time.
I don't remember that off the top of my head. I would have to look.
I don't remember that off the top of my head either. I can email out the bid specs to everybody tomorrow.
Well,
if
you
you've
did,
never.
didn't you? They're in there.
if you could, are they there? Yeah, I was gonna say if they're
They're on the
not.
screen.
And Gwen, while we did a 3-year contract, talking with not just our current one, but a few others, we feel like we got a better price because they could buy equipment and they know they'd be doing it for more than just 1 year. And wouldn't have to
That's
start.
not the only reason too.
It's not the only reason, but that's one of them.
We have been able to hold the trash fees for the last few years flat instead of this up and down for our customers.
My concern is just about performance. And Donnie, I want to go back and look at that. Is that just to reconfirm, is the specs that actually went out to them, is that in board docs? So we can go back and refresh ourselves and just look at it with that.
No, I don't know that it's in board docs, but I can load it in board docs.
Or yeah, email it or something.
Or I can email it, something like that.
That would be helpful.
So you can take a look at it. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I'll make a note. Is that
It's
it,
on the-
Gwen?
I
on
think,
the
yeah, I've got a couple
website.
other small things, but I'll email.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
It sounds like the mayor's asking us to email our questions, thoughts. Do we have a timeline for that? When do you guys want our questions or comments on this by?
Sooner the better.
Sooner the better. I don't, I mean, we're not going to be, so, you know, going over this, some things that you have, I've also had, but going through here, you know, what our goal was to present it tonight. There's nothing that says next Thursday we have to vote on this.
Okay.
So, you know, if we can have something over the next week, it'd be great. Get it into us. But I do want to clarify something that if you look at this, the very top one where it says item 1, you look at the new bid by SMR at 264, monthly labor and tipping included. If you look at the new bid for Evergreen, that's monthly labor and tipping fees. If you look at the existing vendor, that's monthly labor and tipping fees. So it is apples to apples on that line there. So right now, based off of true numbers, we've spent $254,943.09 off of monthly labor and tipping fees. So when you look at this, you can see that what we've spent is at 254. As you go down, these are additional costs that we've solid weight once a week. I want to make sure you all understand what that means. Right now, we pick up trash on Mondays and Fridays, recycles on Wednesday. The middle bid is, do we want to switch to once a week? That's a question that's been thrown around for years now. As you talk to residents, some say yes, some say no, but the point is now you see what the numbers are. The reason why Joe doesn't have that number is because it was never bidded that way before. So she just came up with the number divided in half. When you go down, the same things, these are all actual numbers. From item 7 down, it was never involved in any of the bids before, so we don't have those numbers. And but if you want to see real numbers, that top line straight across, the one on the left is real numbers. That's what the checks we write every month. That's real. That you can't get any more real than that number there. If y'all could just take a look at it, I was also concerned about the difference in price, but we went out to every trash company you can name, and only 2 showed up. Why? I don't know. But it's not
2 showed up, but 2 bid.
excuse me, 3 showed up.
Bates did show up.
Bates showed up, but they didn't bid. So at the end of the day, you know, our job is to make sure we get the best price and the best service for our residents, and performance and all that. Absolutely. So really think about all you have. But it has remained the same for many years now. So I think our residents appreciate that we're not jacking our prices up like some places have been. So just really think about that. Yeah.
Wait a minute, Paul hasn't had his turn yet.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead, Paul.
Sorry.
Just a real quick question. For item 2, does that still include recycling?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's just once a week, but it still includes recycling as well.
Yes.
yeah, it's everything in one, but just pickup is once a week for trash.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Perfect. Okay, are we ready to move on to item 2?
Clarify, Paul.
I think,
Did you have something, Jane?
no,
Yeah.
Elizabeth has something.
I just wanted to know,
how many misses we give them.
Performance. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay,
I just wanted to know, when does this current contract expire? I might have missed that information.
July 1.
July 1.
Of this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So we're good to go. That's the reason why we don't have to rush this.
hey, can I jump in for a second?
Sure.
Gwen said something about performance and somebody said something about, whether we could get rid of the contractor or something. I'm looking at it right now in the specs. Only thing it says is for its performance, it says the town may require the dismissal of any employee of the contractor who violates any provision of common behavior or who is negligent, discourteous in the performance of his duties. Nowhere else in here does it say anything about performance or getting rid of the company. So I don't think we can just cut them out.
But is
It
there
only,
performance?
it only refers to personnel when it comes to performance. Maybe there's another word in there, discontinuance of contract or cancel. But I searched it, and that's the only word that comes up.
Good
So
point.
the reason that I had asked the question in the email earlier about is there contractor performance is usually there's a database somewhere in the world that tells you how a particular contractor was performing. That's the only reason I asked that question earlier. So I'm not really sure where that
Okay.
can go.
All right, so on looking here on the word of council, it says the town will notify the contractor a minimum of 90 days prior to expiration of the initial 1-year term if it intends to cancel. So that's what it says about canceling the contract. And that is on page 7 at the bottom. It says contract terms.
That might have been what I was thinking about, Greg.
Yep.
We had to discuss it a little bit in staff, and then the mayor talked strongly about sitting down with the contractor every few months, every 6 months to make sure, see how things are going, see how we could improve. But I don't know if you wanted to add.
I think we need it, Donnie, that's what I'm talking about. We need some kind of performance measures or our clear expectations. What kind of training do they do? I mean, I don't know if that, if there's some way to amend what's been there, or we need to revisit it, or it's part of the final contract that we put together, but somehow we need to be able to, hold them accountable. And
Hey, Gwen, the last thing it does say on there, that last sentence says a minimum yearly review of the services between the contractor and the town will be conducted. So maybe that's where you can drop the hammer on them.
right. Okay. Well, we should probably all look at that with fresh eyes and.
Take your time. Take your time to go through it.
So that was it. I just want to jump in.
Thank you
on that.
for sharing
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
Greg.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions before we move on to the public area maintenance? Nope. All right. Would you like to go over that, or DB, or who's going to take the run with this?
I can. I thought I was.
DC or whoever.
Yeah, she's the one.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. If you have that sheet in front of you, we had one bidder, and our existing contract is with Gardner Exterior. So everyone's familiar with their maintenance. You can see it. The second portion of it was the new bid. And with the new bid, we included the planting of the flower pots. That's the difference between the flower beds and the pots, all the pots that you see in town. Stacy, do you remember how many pots there are?
Richard quotes there's 70.
Yeah, so 70 pots. So the old price was $48,000 for April through September. That's what we currently pay. The new price would be $51,326. But that number includes the flowers for the pots
For summer and fall plants.
twice.
Plantings.
Twice.
2 plantings. And the reason that's important, because we got a bid from Green Street for just flowers for the pots only of $8,000.
How much?
$8,000.
That was just for summer plants, not the fall.
Oh,
Just the one planting for the pots only, not taking care of them, not planting them, nothing.
good.
Okay.
Okay, so I can't emphasize how pleased I am with Gardner's bid.
Mayor, you're up.
All I can say is that we get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of compliments throughout the year about how beautiful our town is. And Gardner is not only handling it, but they're proactive too. So if they see something not right, they take pictures, they send it to DB, they're on top of it. So I support, but that's all I have.
Donnie, I'm going to jump to you to see if you have anything to say about this.
I would agree with the mayor. Gardner has probably been the best maintenance contractor since I've worked there that we had. They're really responsive. If we need anything, they call. Jim texts me when the crew comes out, what day he's coming out. So in my opinion, like so far, he'll text me Tuesday. They'll come out before the weekends for us, if we need them to. So they have been really responsive. They have a guy on site that's in charge. He does take pictures of the dead plants. Like the mayor was saying, he'll text me, do we want to replace them? Do we not? Give me a price up front. So they've been really good to work with. We did contact, same thing like the mayor said earlier, contacted several other companies, but Gardner came in, they were the only one that came to the pre-bid meeting and bid on the job. But I think they did a superior job so far, maintaining everything.
Right. Greg?
Well, considering what Joanne mentioned about the cost from Green Street, I think this is a really good bid. And looking through it here, I don't see any specifications on what they will be putting in the pots, but they also stated down here that during the inspection, we did not see the total quantity of pots specified in the bid. So I guess what I'm saying is if they made that bid and we granted to them, we're not going to, I prefer that we not be granting any modifications. We go with it as is. Other than that, I think it's good. I don't have any other issues with it.
Jane?
I have no issues either. I do see here that there's 38 pots on Bay Avenue.
Mickey?
My only concern is the difference in the plants, the 3,000, flags me as it may need more than that, just based on how much I have to deal with plants here at my work and the cost of that. So on that 3,000, it sounds too low, unless if they themselves are growing it or have a very good source. But that's not for me to say. That's all.
Elizabeth?
I don't really have a lot of questions because, there's an old saying that if it's not broke, don't fix it. My question is, how do you know it's not broke? But the thing is, the price looks reasonable. The only assumption that I made looking at it is perhaps it's perennial, so they don't need as much change out. I don't really know, but it looks fine to me. I don't have any other questions.
Gwen?
I think it looks good. I mean, we're actually getting more value for the dollars going forward. So I'm good with it.
And Paul?
Looks good. No comment.
Okay.
All right, guys,
Yep.
thank you so much. And
Wait a minute. My goal was to place this on the April Town Council agenda for action.
Yes.
So that they can start to do work in town after April 15th.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Get
For
her on.
Gardner? For Gardner?
Yes.
Yep.
As you can tell, the grass is growing. The weeds are coming.
That's right.
All right, let's move into item 3, proposed fund budget. I want to explain how we're doing it this year, something a little different. So today we're presenting to you the general fund. I can't imagine we're going to have a lot of discussion today due to the fact you're just getting it, and there's a lot of information there that Joe has worked very tirelessly on. Next work session, you're going to have the water and sewer and the capital improvements. We're splitting it up. We're still going to vote on everything in June, but the point is this gives you a little opportunity to focus one area. And because of the times that we're in right now, and that's why we're all sitting someplace else other than the council chamber, I wanted to make sure we had time to sit down and really go over it. So what you'll see presented to you is the budget, but also to the right, as you look at it, there's notes.
Mhm.
Take your time, look at the notes. Joe and I and staff, we've had hundreds of conversations about this budget. This is not just thrown together. There's been a lot of thought with the virus, with staff, with everything. So what you have presented to you today, maybe the first time you saw it, but I promise you, it's not the first time we discussed it over here. So take your time, look at it. Any questions you have, please don't hold back. Get your questions to Joe, and she's going to answer them. There's nobody that's better than Joe at this budget. So I'll leave it at that. And then Joe, if you want to, whatever you'd like to discuss about it.
Well, I won't take up too much time because again, you're just getting this and that's my fault. So I want to apologize, but this really has been once in a lifetime crisis to deal with, and it's impacted every aspect of our lives. I'm not making excuses, but there's things I've got to think about that I've never had to think about. And one of them is not only dealing with the future projections and not knowing, because every day, I don't know how you all feel, but every day the federal government comes on, it's something a little different and a little worse. But currently, we're also dealing with the end of our quarter for FY20. And you know that's one of the biggest money times for the town of North Beach as far as beach fees, gambling monies, highway user, all these things are impacted by the good weather. And right now, I'm at a loss. I'm cutting our current budget. At the same time, I don't know whether to cut everything out of FY21 as I'm doing FY20. So there's a lot of question in here, and that's why we're going to go through this a little slower this time. And I've written plenty of notes in here. And one of the last thing, and some of you may get a chuckle, it's gotten to the point where every once in a while I just got to laugh. I got this, the second memo from MML to help me prepare my budget. And I just want to read one of the item numbers, and you know that they're coordinated with the spreadsheets. And when you see a 2 to the right under note, you know to go to 2 on the note spread on the note sheet, and you'll find that response. But one of them is here, and let me see. The highway user one. You'll go down to item 4 on your notes. I have there, you know, things that I've been preparing for the last few weeks. But then I've got the memo from MML to help me prepare my budget. It was about a week ago, I believe, Mayor, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that little note there, if you read that, the last sentence is what gave me a little chuckle. And I hate to have a sick sense of humor, but I do. It's the actual impacts of the emergency on HUR distributions will not be known until the emergency is over. So your HUR revenue projections will need to be based on, essentially, on your best guess. So that's how I felt about the whole budget right now. So that's in the back of my mind every time I look at FY21. So I have my concerns, and I kind of like that we're broken it up this year with the general fund first, because I believe, sewer and water is going to need its own little day for us to have chats. And I'm going to talk with Stacy and the mayor maybe after we get off the line. Maybe since we're all home, and it looks like we're going to be home through the end of April, right?
As a minimum.
As a minimum, and you guys are so tech savvy, maybe we can meet more frequently about the budget. And maybe address these things as we go. If I can get Stacy, if I have enough time to put out a notice. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm good with that.
I like that idea.
It's a good
Sounds
idea.
like a plan. Yep, let's do it.
We got plenty of time in April.
Yes.
If we can have it done by May, why not?
Yes.
Sorry I said that.
Because I truly believe there will be things in here that we'll need to shave further cuts. And I think that when we do finally get to FY21, even if we get one, well, we will get to the pass where we pass a budget. But even once we pass it, we're going to need to set up another review at the minimum in October to reevaluate where we are, if we're going to be able to achieve what we put in there or not. So that's the plan. I hope everyone's on board with it. I've tried to make it as clear as possible. Even this spreadsheet where there are notes, I've got if you hover over it, you'll see the note come up. You'll click, it'll come up. You don't actually have to read the page. I try to put as much information so it's easy for you to follow. I really don't have anything that's out of the ordinary at this point. There's one new item is a salary survey that the mayor wants that hasn't been done since, I don't believe that it's been done since 1998. So he wants to do that, and that's in there, but you'll see where that is in the budget. Basically, I'd like you to get familiar with it, and then I'd like to be able to communicate with everyone sooner than later.
That's good.
Does that work for everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, and the only other thing I would like to say that your budget is based on the current tax rate. We're not reducing taxes. We are exempt from the constant yield because even if we went with the constant yield, the rate of revenue would be so minor that we would be exempt from it anyway. So I have some things planned for you in the next couple of weeks. I'm excited. You know, it's my favorite time of year. So I'm glad to share with you guys.
Does anyone have anything right now to say? No?
Well,
You speechless? Good. Good.
I think
that.
what you're going to see was a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, a lot of conversations. And we're going to move forward with the most positive attitude we can. And that's why Joe mentioned maybe in October, we're going to have to come circle the wagons back up and have this conversation. Nobody knows. Only one that knows what's going to go on is the virus. And it doesn't talk to any of us. So we all pray that we get through this sooner than later, but we have to prepare. So we're all going to earn our keep this budget year. I promise you that. Other than that, we can move right into public comment. At this time, we will take public comment based off of the subject matter that has been presented tonight. So Paul, this is where you're going to come in. So how would you like to do this?
Stacy, do we have any email comments come in?
I did not get any email comments.
Okay. Well, I can unmute all microphones and see if anyone has any comments. We can go from there. So
Let's give it a shot. Let's do it.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, this is Carmen from 4104 3rd Street. How's everyone this evening?
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Good. How you doing, Carmen?
Good. So the bids for the trash disposal, are those up for public review as well, or is that something that only you guys see?
It's in board docs. You can look at it on board docs, Carmen.
On board docs? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Sounds good. And because you were mentioning about, I think Gwen was mentioning about the termination based on performance, and wondering if there's an opportunity for the company to cure that default based on performance. I don't know. I haven't seen what it says, so I just wanted to look at that and also look at the difference in the numbers that you guys are speaking about. Like Elizabeth, I'd just be curious about why there's such a dramatic difference. Are those blind bids?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. And that's all I have. That's the only question I had.
Thank you so much, Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? Any other public comment?
All right.
Sold.
We will close public comments at this time. I have two things to Stacy. As you know, staff keeps me in check. We're going to go ahead and adjourn our meeting, but I want to thank you. This is a first for us. I don't know if this has ever happened since 1910. I doubt it because it wasn't around 1910. But I think this is a learning curve for all of us. Take notes. We have our town council meeting next week, April 9th at 7 p.m. Stay tuned for some changes to the council meeting, but it will be back out to the public. It will be through a Zoom also, and we're going to keep moving forward to make sure we let the residents know and keep them informed of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I think all council staff and the residents should be proud of our little town. I think we've done well over the last 3-4 weeks to get through where we are today. So I can't thank everybody enough for all the hard work. And at this time, I have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you so much. And this is recorded so you can check it out when you're really bored on YouTube.